and that person is Jennifer Doherty. And I want to thank you for all of the work that you're doing. It's not a whole lot, but it's everything that I've got left in my campaign treasury after we settle everything out. And that, like I said, it's not really coming from me. It's coming from the guys who are in this room, because labor is what really supported me. And I want to. All I can say is I'm going to do everything I can to help you out because it's that important.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your coming out this morning. Again, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Please tell your coworkers, tell your fellow members, this is important, and we need their help. We're going to get their feet on the ground. We're going to help them get canvassing. They have to talk up the food chain too. Make sure that the people in Washington who are running the international organizations are not just discounting the 6th Congressional District. A couple little facts. You know the special elections that have occurred.
Well, go ahead and finish your
The
thought.
special elections that have occurred have all swung our way. 5 months is an awfully long time. But they were wrong when they predicted Wayne Gilchrist would win re-election in the predictions for the beginning of the year. They were wrong when they predicted that Albert Wynn would win his primary, and they were wrong when they predicted Roscoe Bartlett will win re-election in November.
One thing, could you address just briefly, the partisanship that's taken place, and that has, the level of partisanship has risen above what's good for the common interest of people.
Well, partisanship is a huge issue, and honestly, I think my experience in City Hall, which was a very partisan experience, will help me and has helped me understand what battles are important and what aren't. You know, I think the idea of supporting universal health care is important. So I'm willing to negotiate with friends across the aisle. I have a great friend, actually my old insurance agent, who's retired now. He says, oh, you Democrats, you just want to have universal health care because the number isn't even 47 million. I said, okay, what's the number? He says, it's probably like 15 million. Okay, well, I think those 15 million should have health insurance. He says, well, you got me there. So my thought is, I don't want to fight about the issues that are really off the table in terms of what our priorities are. If people want to make noise about other things, one of the things I think I've learned over the last few years is to not focus on the things that are making noise, because just like anything, they're trying to be a distraction. They're trying to distract us. The idea of our national security is important to me, but putting real plans in place really matter to me. You know, having been in charge of a local police department, I can remember how people would get upset and say, where can I buy my duct tape and plastic? This is not how we defend ourselves. First of all, Americans are proud and brave, and we know how to defend ourselves. And I think that's another important concept when you come to the Second Amendment. But we're not going to use our guns to shoot down a 747. We're going to use our intelligence. And I think that's part of what you're talking about. We have to use our intelligence and negotiate. I think I've learned a lot over my life, and I learn more every day. But your advice over coming together over a common cause, and maybe even a cup of coffee in the morning, yes, or a pint of Guinness at night, you know, that might help resolve the issues. Larry?
One thing I picked up, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you said that health care over the years has been, what was the word you used? Neglected. It hasn't been neglected. The people that are making the money off of the system the way it is now have tended to do it every day.
It's been protected. Yes. I should change my word.
And we need to look at it that way. We need to say, you know, healthcare hasn't been neglected in this country. It is, healthcare right now is exactly what the people that are making the money off of it want.
Right, you're right about that. Healthcare policy, national policy that gets us all protected, is really the thing that we have to work on. And,
right,
and the language is, you're right. We should, you know, we should really focus on how to make sure that the lobbyists and their kind are not evil people. They're doing what they're hired to do, protect their interests. Your daughter wants to be a lawyer. What will she do? She will be an ardent advocate for the issues that are important to her and her clients. Sometimes you don't choose your clients. Sometimes, you know, they're presented to you. But we as legislators, what we're supposed to do is advocate for the best and strongest position for our community, our constituents. And that's where I think Roscoe's fallen down. I think he has not been able to, stand up for us. He's been a loyal vote. He was the swing vote on the tax breaks for oil and gas companies. If he was really a believer that peak oil was a serious concern, then he should have been pushing at that point to take those dollars, that money, and to push them in renewables. Because the oil and gas companies don't have any economic interest in getting us off oil and gas. They want it, and they don't have any real interest in increasing refineries right now. Why? Because they're making $100 million. $100 billion, excuse me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could be $2 trillion. We add these zeros at the end of it, it doesn't matter. The oil and gas companies are protecting their interests. Just an acknowledgement. If we're really all in it together, you don't throw up your hands at a congressional hearing 7 years after the fact and say, you really haven't looked out for us. Isn't it unconscionable that you're making all these profits? They're going to say, it's my job.
Yes.
We as voters have to take a more serious role in this. There's a new book out. It's about the American voter. And I think it's a college professor from Virginia, George Mason maybe, and he's talking about the American voter falling for the bumper sticker. The only bumper sticker I want you to fall for is Jennifer.
One thing we got to remember, and they never talk about it when they're talking about oil, we're still the world's third largest producer of oil, and we're still an oil exporter.
Yeah.
So, they just sound the alarms here, but they're not doing
Something wrong
anything.
with that picture.
Yes, there is.
President Bush and the other guy, Cheney, went over to Saudi Arabia. You got to remember what the Saudi Arabians told both of them. We're not pumping more oil because there's enough oil out there. You got to go back to America and talk to the speculators who are controlling the price of oil right now. That's something you need to think about. They know their oil. And they said it's not, there's no shortage. And it don't cost them any more to pump a gallon of oil out of the sand than it did 5 years ago.
And we're actually reducing our consumption.
There are Americans, God bless them, who are making billions off of the price of oil right now. And they have nothing to do with pumping it or refining it or anything else. They're just buying and selling.
Commodities market's a wonderful thing, right? So you end up paying for corn and oil, and it'll be water next.